Let's continue with the twin pregnancy. We have completed in previous lecture. In continuity of that, number one, I would like to say, although the biochemical markers like the alpha fetoprotein levels, serum estriol levels and beta hCG levels, although they are higher in twin pregnancy, but they will not be utilized for diagnosis of twin pregnancy. Now coming to complications. Differential diagnosis. First of all, differential diagnosis of twin pregnancy. What are they? They are this hydramnios, polyhydramnios, big size uterus, more than the period of amenorrhea. Then big baby also, and associated fibroid or ovarian tumors and or fetal maternal ascites with developing fetus in the uterus. So now coming to complications of the twin pregnancy. Twins is the highest pregnancy, so it is associated with complications related to mother as well as to fetus. Now coming to maternal complications, can be maternal and fetal. So coming to maternal complications, they can be during pregnancy or during labor or during pure period. So in this way we will be able to identify them one by one. So always remember maternal complications. Now coming to during pregnancy. So what are they? Emesis gravidarum is exaggerated. So if she is coming in early pregnancy, you will be getting more cases in twin pregnancy of emesis gravidarum or sometimes hyperemesis gravidarum, which is not easily controlled. So nausea and vomiting of pregnancy, they are exaggerated. Anemia, we already seen that because of the impaired RBC growth as compared to the hypervolemia that is occurring because of twin pregnancy, this mismatch causes increased anemia. So anemia is more commonly seen. Now preeclampsia, I told you 25%. It is higher incidence in twin pregnancy. Around 4 to 5 times you can say the woman is more at risk of developing preeclampsia if she is having a multifetal pregnancy. Now hydramnios, it is seen in 10% cases of twin pregnancy, more in first twin. One sac you get hydramnios, and the sac you may be having this oligohydramnios. Twin transfusion syndrome, we will be discussing it in detail in another lecture in case of monoamniotic, diamniotic monochorionic pregnancies. So the hydramnios is seen. Then antepartum hemorrhage. There are few reasons for antepartum hemorrhage. Number one, you have big placenta. Big placenta or size of the placenta is more as compared to singleton pregnancy. So some of it may be encroaching the lower uterine segment, which is less retractile. Sorry, not retractility is not important here. If some of the part of placenta is adhered in the lower uterine segment, that means placenta previa. So this could be the cause, big placenta giving rise to placenta previa, antepartum hemorrhage, and it is also seen in big placenta there may be detachment of the placenta from the uterine wall leading to accidental hemorrhage. It is this accidental hemorrhage is more commonly seen after delivery of the first twin, and uterus, the size it diminishes, and what happens, because of this smaller size of uterus, the placenta of the second twin, it detaches itself before the delivery of the baby. So that is also called accidental hemorrhage. So it is, the incidence is more common. Malpresentations, because it's not only one baby developing, 2 babies are developing, so they will be taking their own space is less, it is meant only for one baby. So malpresentations, breech, transverse lie, they are all very common, but they are more common in second baby. The first twin, it usually is by vertex only, by cephalic presentation only. So malpresentation, preterm labor because of the over distended uterus. Preterm, it is very rare that the twin pregnancy goes till term, the expected date of delivery. No, because It is said that the even the fetal lung maturation is occurring at earlier gestational age as compared to singleton pregnancy. In case of triplets, it is even earlier, and in case of quadruplets, it is even more earlier. At around the average duration of pregnancy in quadruplets is 31 to 32 weeks only, and fetal lung maturation is occurring at an earlier gestational age. In case of twin pregnancy, before 34 weeks, if she goes into labor, you are supposed to give corticosteroids as advised for lung maturation. Don't miss it. Before 34 weeks, you have to give this steroids. Now, mechanical distress in the later parts of pregnancy, because of the over-distended, the diaphragm is shifted more, tidal volume is also increased in pregnancy, and all these palpitations, they are more common. So these are the complications that are occurring during pregnancy. So what are the complications that are occurring during labor? Number one, early rupture of membranes may occur because of the over distended uterus. Sometimes because of this early rupture and also because of the malpresentation that is present associated, more commonly in second fetus, cord prolapse is more commonly seen in twin pregnancy. So whenever there is a rupture of membrane, make it a habit of doing per-vaginal examination in all pregnancies, especially in multiple pregnancy. Don't miss this. Now, prolonged labor because of the over-distended uterus, you may think of having prolonged labor, but fortunately, as the babies are small, the prolonged labor is not commonly seen in twin pregnancy. This is not one of the complications. Now, increased operative interference because of the presence of malpresentations that are there, especially for delivery of second twin. Increased operative interference, you may need to do external cephalic version, you may need to do internal podalic version, you may need to apply forceps, you may need to apply vacuum, or you may even have to do more of cesarean section in twin pregnancies because of these malpresentations that are more frequently seen. So these are the complications that are occurring during labor. Now, what are the complications that are occurring during labor? One more important complication is postpartum hemorrhage, immediate postpartum hemorrhage. Because of the over distended uterus, the retractility is hampered, and it leads to the placental surface area is high, distension is high. So what happens? Postpartum, immediate postpartum, there is more blood loss, and she is also anemic because of twin pregnancy. You know that physiological anemia of pregnancy is more. So this all will put her to stress. So if you get to see extra blood loss during delivery, you transfuse at least 1 unit of blood to the mother. Now coming to complications that are occurring during puerperium. So what are the subinvolution? Because the uterus was over distended, there are more chances of infection in postpartum because of the increased placental surface area on the inside the uterine membrane, and also what lactation problem. She will have to feed two children, two infants at one particular time, and it is difficult nowadays for women to feed one child or to take care of one child, and she has to take care two. So it is really a challenge for the entire family. So what you need to do, you need to reassure her, you need to tell her that simultaneous feeding is beneficial. You feed the twins simultaneously, put them on each breast simultaneously. So the suckling reflex on both the breast will increase the milk production, and it will satisfy the kids. So in spite of taking one kid at a time, she is advised to take both the kids simultaneously. So there are different positions also for simultaneously feeding two kids. You will I will be dealing them with the different lecture. So what are the, now coming to fetal complications. Fetal complications in early pregnancy, the miscarriage are more commonly seen in twin pregnancy. Sometimes the one fetus it dies inside and the other continues to develop. So if in early pregnancy it is happening, the before 14 weeks, if it happens, one twin dies and the other continues to grow, the dead twin it vanishes and it is called as vanishing twin. Vanishing twin. So vanishing twin is nothing. Before 14 weeks, if one twin dies in utero, the other continues to grow. So the one fetus vanishes and you don't get even the trace at delivery. And similar term is this vanishing twin. Similar term is developing twin. What is this meaning of appearing twin? It is vanishing, now it is appearing. What is this? You miss the twin pregnancy in your first ultrasound. The sonologist misses the the twins in first ultrasound around 6 weeks duration. The person misses, and now when the woman goes at 9 to 10 weeks again, now she comes with the report of twin pregnancy. So this is appearing twin for the couple. For you also, the twin was not present earlier, but it appeared. But these are all. This is appearing twin is only a not accurate term, but it is that in her first ultrasound she was told she is singleton pregnancy. In her second ultrasound she comes that now it is twin. It has become a twin. So it appears for her that it has appeared, but it is not exactly. It was missed in first pregnancy. So it is the term used is appearing twin, vanishing twin, appearing twin. Now what else? Because of the over-distended uterus, fetal complications of prematurity. You know that preterm labor is more common in twin pregnancy. So the complications of preterm birth, they will be seen for fetal complications. Now, growth problem. The presence of congenital anomalies like neural tube defect, they are more commonly seen in one fetus of twin pregnancy. The incidence is increased. So when you are doing ultrasound of twin for this anomaly scan, you have to be very, very careful in examining both the fetuses, taking your own time. So the incidence of congenital anomalies is increased in case of twin pregnancy in one fetus. Now what else? Intrauterine death of one fetus. It is seen. If it is seen in early pregnancy before 14 weeks, I told you vanishing twin. If it is appearing in mid trimester, what happens? The one fetus that died, it is compressed by the developing fetus and it becomes compressed. So it is called fetus compresses. In books you can get the picture also of fetus compresses. It is compressed against the uterine wall and the developing fetus. So it becomes papyricious, fetus papyricious, paper-like. It's become by compression, prolonged compression. And what else? If the one fetus dies in the later part of pregnancy, and suppose you have if it is dizygotic, nothing important. Dizygotic, nothing much important, but it will be troublesome for the mother. Only mother, not for other twin. But if it is monozygotic and there are anastomosis, vessel anastomosis between the two fetuses, this will cause problem to mother as well as to fetus. Mother also, fetus also. What are the risks to the other fetus developing? There are problems of microcephaly and even the death of the other fetus because of the thromboplastin liberated from the dead fetus. Also DIC is seen in case of mother. So what are the things that it will cause to other fetus? Sometimes other fetus also dies because of death of one fetus. And DIC in mother is seen, death of one fetus, other fetus is alive, and it is seen that DICs or kidney failure is occurring in case of mother because of the thromboplastin which is liberated from the dead fetus is absorbed. So these are the questions. Now fetal anomalies, I told you it is more commonly seen in one fetus. In case of twin pregnancies, the incidence is increased. And asphyxia and stillbirth, it is more common complication for the second twin. First twin is born, the uterus retracts. some part of it is also retaining the another fetus. So what happens, there is a burden over this inside fetus and you have to expedite the delivery. It is said that duration of delivery should be 15 to 13 minutes. 15 to 30. One kid, when first twin is born, second twin should be born between 15 to 30 minutes. And if it is not possible, then you are more likely to see the complications in second twin. So you have to expedite the delivery of the second twin after the birth of the first twin. Now what is the prognosis? Maternal morbidity is increased. All these complications I just told you, because of these maternal morbidity is increased. Fetal morbidity is also increased. Fetal mortality is also increased because of the twin pregnancy, and these fetal complications, they are more commonly seen in monozygotic twins and not in dizygotic. More commonly they are present in monozygotic twins, and even fetal maternal mortality is higher as compared to singleton pregnancy. So considering all this prognosis, you will have to assure and tell the woman that her delivery should take place only in a hospital setting where proper neonatal facilities are also available, and tell them that she may require blood. They need to prepare for blood transfusion also. Their mind, they should be able to understand all the importance of these things and not ignore them to avoid any complications. Now coming to special complications of monochorionic twins. Monochorionic twins, they are seen in cases of monozygotic and this monozygotic variety have less than 72 hours. If it is less than 72 hours, we see diamniotic dichorionic. If it is 4th day to 7th day, it is monoamniotic dichorionic. If it is 8th day onward to 14th day, monoamniotic monochorionic, and after 2 weeks it is conjoint. Okay, this monozygotic twinning, this is a quick recap. Now if it is, this is the least common, this is lesser, this is around 20 to 25%, and it is around 70 to 75%. This is only 1 to 2%, and it is very rare. So what complications? And monozygotic twinning itself is around 20 to 25% of all twins. So monozygotic twinning, they have more complications. Perinatal mortality and morbidity is more in compared of monozygotic twinning. So what are these? One thing is twin-twin transfusion syndrome. Detail I will be taking for postgraduate students, separate lecture. Here I will be just mentioning and a brief introduction. What is twin transfusion syndrome, TTTS? Number one, it is seen in monozygotic twins. For this, there should be an anastomosis in the fetal vessels, especially one arteriovenous. Anastomosis has to be present. What happens? One twin becomes the donor and one twin becomes the recipient. What is happening? Twin transfusion syndrome. One twin is transfusing another twin. So one becomes donor whose artery is anastomosed with a venous part of recipient. In this case, the blood is shunted from one twin to another twin by this arteriovenous anastomosis. So whose blood is being shunted becomes a donor twin. What happens? Oligo, poor growth. The staging of TTTS I will be taking in detail for postgraduate students in another lecture. Oligo, poor growth. And this recipient twin, plethoric, big size, polyhydramnios, and it becomes blood amount is less here and it is more here. It is also taking the blood of the other twin, so it becomes plethoric, congested growth. Even though the big size of the baby is big, even the outcome, if we look at the outcome, this is a MCQ question. If we look at the perinatal outcome of both the twins, the donor twin has a better outcome in perinatal period. So because of the overloaded circulation, they die of usually congestive cardiac failure. So how to diagnose them? For their diagnosis, what is important? At 9 to 13 weeks we did ultrasound and we came to know that this is a intertwin membrane is less than 2 millimeter. It is monoamniotic, monochorionic twin. So we have to be vigilant that we will be doing ultrasound starting in mid pregnancy to pick this thing early and treat it accordingly if required. This is twin transfusion. There is a difference of 5 gram% at the birth. If we take the cord blood samples, hemoglobin estimation, difference of 5 gram% in both the twins, and growth expected on ultrasound, the expected weight of delivery is 25% discrepancy. The smaller twin is less, the weight difference is, expected weight difference is 25% more in both the twins. So you should be now vigilant and trying to treat. So more this TTT is developed, earlier this developed, poorer is the outcome. Earlier this is developing, poorer is the outcome. If it is developing late, then it is better outcome because you can now deliver the child with the babies and treat them. So this is twin transfusion, twin transfusion syndrome, TTTS. Its importance, its diagnosis, you should be aware of. It is seen in monozygotic twins. This is the important MCQ thing. Now, how to manage? If you get them early, what you can do? You can do repeated amniocentesis from the donor twin, because from that you can give some relief. What else? As there is anastomosis, we came to know that there is anastomosis, and we will be blocking it by laser or coagulation. We will be doing it. So this will help in treatment. Being an MBBS student, you should be only aware about how to diagnose it, that it is present. You should be aware how to diagnose and what are the treatment modalities present, because you are not going to treat it, you will be sending the woman for expert care. Now, what is dead fetus syndrome? I told you, if it is the fetus is dying early, it vanishes, simply vanishes. In mid pregnancy, it becomes fetus papillicious, and in later part of pregnancy, one twin dies, it leads to dead fetus syndrome, because of it is seen in 2 to 7% of monozygotic twins. 2 to 7% of monozygotic twins. It has a poorer outcome for co-twin. Another twin who is still alive, it has got poor outcome. I told you, because of the thromboplastin, which is liberated and gets circulated to the anastomosis. So you have fetal as well as maternal complications. So this is dead fetus syndrome. If even the second twin does not die of it, the second twin, co-twin, may develop microcephaly or renal cortical necrosis and other various complications. Now, what is twin reversed arterial perfusion? It is twin reversed arterial perfusion. It is TRAP. There is same thing. Anastomosis has to be there. Anastomosis has to be there. It can be either arterio-arterial. In case of TTTS, it has to be arteriovenous anastomosis. In this case, anastomosis has to be there. What happens? One twin becomes amorphous, does not has cardiac, heart is not present, it becomes amorphous, you cannot differentiate easily the part of the fetus, and twin reversed arterial perfusion. Arterial perfusion is reversed from co-twin who is developing finally. What happens? The blood is unutilized blood. Unutilized blood is through anastomosis is supplied to this amorphous co-twin, and it becomes dependent on this twin, and this twin is at risk because of hyperdynamic circulation. So this is TRAP or twin reversed arterial perfusion or fetus cardiacus. One fetus is not having the heart, the other is perfusing that fetus also through the anastomosis, and it is either fetus cardiacis or you can say TRAP, T-R-A-P, twin reversed arterial perfusion. So what else of monozygotic twins? Conjoined twin. These are very rare, also called Siamese twins. The fusion can be, depending upon the fusion, they can be classified as craniopagus, having the fusion at the head, then pyopagus or ischiopagus. So these are the conjoined twins. Fortunately, because of the early ultrasound, we are able to detect them, and many of them they are terminated because of the poorer outcome, expense of the treatment which is required postnatally, and the trauma to the parents involved. So early diagnosis will help always, and sometimes the diagnosis is missed. If on ultrasound you are repeated getting the spines, they are in close proximity of the two fetus, or if repeated ultrasound, if you see that the poles of the fetus, the various different fetal parts, they are maintaining the same thing, they are called, it is more likely they are conjoined twins. Now what is coming to antenatal management? So antenatal management depends upon advice, diet. It has to be increased calories, then increased rest, especially after 24 weeks for better fetal development, and supplementary therapy like iron, calcium, folic acid, proteins, they are to be given in more quantity as compared to singleton pregnancies. Then interval of antenatal visit. Once you diagnose a twin pregnancy, you will tell her to come repeatedly for examination, and I told you ultrasound in a twin pregnancy every 3 to 4 weeks to assess the development of both the fetuses, and in case of monoamniotic, if it is present, every 15 days you will be subjecting her to ultrasound examination to get the idea of these complications earlier and timely treatment. So these, and what about routine hospitalization is not required. Just tell her to take adequate rest at home, and when she goes in labor, yes, she has to be put in the hospital only. Or if there are any emergency conditions like bleeding or like rupture of membranes or preeclampsia, associated preeclampsia if she is having, then she will be put to hospital admission. Now management during labor. Place of delivery, it has to be hospital only. Now coming to first stage, you will be, when she is admitted, you will be putting in IV line because you may get any time. Then patient is asked to be in bed, more in bed, because what happens if PROM happens and if there is a malpresentation, what will happen? Cord prolapse may occur. So you ask her to be in bed only. Then analgesic drugs, they are not given more often because the kids are, the fetuses, they are small, and they may get postnatal problems in if we administer the drugs. Epidural analgesia is preferred because she may need operative interference anytime. So under epidural analgesia you can go for operative, you can convert it immediately to this anesthesia also. So epidural line is set up. Ask the this anesthetist to come, inform the neonatologist and tell them that you may require 2 neonatologists at the time of the birth. Inform the pediatric department also. So delivery of the first baby is as usual, but what is withheld? The intravenous methargine that we give at the delivery of the anterior shoulder of the first baby is to be withheld. Don't give, this is a contraindication of intravenous methargine at the delivery of anterior shoulder. You will not be giving to after first baby. Yes, of course, after second twin is born, you can give it. But before, for first, no, it has, this is the only thing that you will be careful about. Now what? When you tie the this cord in between 2 clamps and then cut in between and leave almost after tying it and cleaning 8 to 10 centimeter of cord should be there, because there are more chances of fetal admission and then administration of drugs. So leave the umbilical cord around 8 to 10 centimeter for further action if required. Now after the delivery of the first baby, what you will be giving? You will be doing putting a oxytocin drip. If contractions they do not occur timely, then you increase the oxytocin in the drip and monitor her fetal heart sounds and do a examination, internal examination, to rule out any cord presentation or cord prolapse. Now after, you have to be very gentle and quick. I told you what is the expected time, 15 to 30 minutes is to be given. If the second twin is vertex, it's very nice, fix the head and do ARN. If it is not vertex, then if it is breech, and then you can wait for breech delivery or you can go for external cephalic version. In case of second transverse, you can go for external cephalic version or internal podalic version. Internal podalic version in case of second twin transverse lie is the only indication, internal podalic version in present day obstetric practice. This is the only indication. You have to put her to general anesthesia and then do internal cephalic version and then followed by breech extraction. So this is the only indication nowadays left for internal cephalic version. If first twin is not by vertex, you will subject her to cesarean section mostly, not for vaginal delivery, and it is very less, almost 70%. Almost 70% twin pregnancy, the first baby is by vertex cephalic only. Almost 70%. So in rest of the cases, if they are smaller size, you can wait for vaginal delivery. If in case of transverse twin, second twin is transverse, it is not of much importance if the first is by vertex. After the delivery of the first fetus, this position it is auto corrected usually, because of the presence now the one fetus has moved out. So the second fetus, it becomes transverse after the delivery of the first baby. If it not spontaneous, then you can go for versions as informed. Now if it is delivery is not happening within the expected time that I told you, then if it is high, you can go for extraction, breech extraction, and if it is low down, you can apply the ventouse or forceps also. High forceps, they are not to be applied because of its increased morbidity to both mother and fetus, injuries and other things. So now third stage, after the delivery of the second twin, give intravenous methargine. Continue the oxytocin drip for around 1 hour and observe the woman for postpartum hemorrhage for at least 2 hours in your labor room, and then you shift her to this ward. If the blood loss is more, then you have to put her to blood transfusion also. So what are the complications? This is the general twin delivery treatment and flow chart. You can get it in your books also, how to go for one by one what we have to follow. More the you observe the things, more you become used to it. And now coming to what are the complications or difficult cases. They are very rare, fortunately they are very rare. So, but you should be aware. If you are asked in your exam what are the complications in during labor, so you don't just utter these very rare complications first. What other complications you are going to utter? We can utter this postpartum hemorrhage is more common. Okay, then delayed delivery is more common. They are more commonly seen. So these complications theoretically you should be aware of, they are rare. So conjoined twins, it is difficult to deliver them vaginally at around term. So they may require cesarean section. If persistently you are getting transverse lie, then you should be aware, you should keep in your mind that you may be having a twin pregnancy. Also during delivery, it is better to keep a ultrasound machine nearby in your labor room. After delivery of the first baby, you do a quick ultrasound to know about the intrauterine condition of the fetus. So presence of ultrasound machine in labor room is also a good practice in case of twin pregnancy. Now there is also one thing this is very fascinating. So you are very fond of and you utter it immediately when you are asked. After coming head of first twin, interlocking condition. After coming head of the first twin is locked with the chin of the forecoming head of the second twin.